The Emirates NBA Cup schedule has been formally released. Does the Washington Wizards have Bilal buyer's remorse? And should Kyle Kuzma shut up and dribble when it comes to politics? I don't think so, but we're going to talk about all that and more next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again, and I appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is looking to all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Look, visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, everybody, a lot to talk about tonight. The Emirates NBA Cup schedule has been released, so we're going to look at the Wizards schedule. It is formerly known as the in-season tournament. Now it is the Emirates NBA Cup officially this season, so we're going to take a look at the Wizards schedule. Does the Washington Wizards have Bilal buyer's remorse? We're going to look at a report from Wizard of Oz. Shout out to them. And then we're going to look at, when it comes to the realm of politics, recent comments made by Kyle Kuzma. Should he simply shut up and dribble, or is he within his rights to talk about political subjects? So we're going to start out with the first subject tonight, the Emirates NBA Cup schedule. So let's take a look at that real quick. Now, again, this year it is officially called the Emirates NBA Cup. Last year it was known as the in-season tournament. So let's take a look at the 4 games this year for the Washington Wizards. They kick off the Emirates NBA Cup in Atlanta on Friday, November 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Game number 2 is at home at Capital One Arena, Friday, November 22nd, 2 days before my birthday. Good Lord. At 7 o'clock against the Boston Celtics, the NBA champion Boston Celtics, that is. The third Emirates NBA Cup game is Tuesday, November 26th, against the Chicago Bulls, again at Capital One Arena at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And the fourth Emirates NBA Cup game for the Washington Wizards is in Cleveland against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tuesday, December 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm going to run through the schedule real quick for you guys. Again, the first game for the Wizards for the Emirates NBA Cup is in Atlanta, Friday, November 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The second game is at home at Capital One, Friday, November 22nd against the Boston Celtics at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Game number 3 is also at home, Tuesday, November 26th against the Chicago Bulls at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And the fourth game is Tuesday, December 3rd at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time in Cleveland against the Cavs. Now, if they advance, they're subject to more games. Obviously, they're playing. They play the guys within their little group. Obviously, is the Hawks, Celtics, Bulls, and Cavs. But if we beat, I forget how many teams out of the group we beat, but if they advance to like a playoff type of round, man, you could see potential more games. But I mean, against the Hawks, Bulls, Celtics, and Cavs, I think we all agree we're probably gonna be watching the Emirates Cup playoffs from the sidelines, which is cool, man, because we know what it is, man. The Wizards aren't gonna be very good, but we're gonna be more entertaining to watch, in my opinion. So again, definitely tune in because this is the second year for this. Again, last year it was called the in-season tournament. This year, through the United Arab Emirates, it is now called the Emirates NBA Cup. So looking at the in-season tournament, aka the Emirates NBA Cup, that is, what are some things that I liked and what some things I didn't like? Now I'll say this: when they unveiled the district jersey for the Boundary Stones, I thought that was really cool. Every team had their own type of jersey for the in-season tournament, aka the Emirates NBA Cup. And I like how teams had their own little court. They're kind of a really colorful court. So those are some things I did like. Now, I'm willing to give it a chance. I said this last year with Ed, man. I'm willing to give it a chance. I get it that the NBA is competing with the NFL, Major League Baseball, but also soccer as far as in international league, man. And they have to evolve. To add new things to it. So I'm not too mad at the Emirates NBA Cup. I think it's a new dynamic that they kind of throw in there. Makes it a little more exciting, puts a little more excitement in the early part of the season. So I'm not against that. The only thing that's to me that's kind of like weird is the banner. Like the Lakers won last year and they put a banner up. I mean, do you really want to put a banner up for the Emirates NBA Cup. I mean, I thought it was kind of corny when the Lakers did it last year, especially when they didn't end up winning the NBA championship. I think that they'd rather have a banner for a championship than the Emirates NBA Cup or the in-season tournament. So I think that's kind of corny, the whole banner. I don't think that the tournament is that high profile or that important to put a banner up, even though I think it is a nice concept, kind of in a season tournament before things kick off. I think, again, with the jerseys, with the courts. I took my wife to the first one for the Wizards against the Charlotte Hornets last year, so it was pretty cool. Like I said, the court was cool, jersey was cool. We almost beat them. That was when Mark Williams dropped the 20 rebounds on us, man. Even though Gaff, man, it had the one sequence where he had like 3 straight blocks, man. So, oh man, Daniel Gafford. But again, I'm giving it a chance. Like I said, it's a new concept. It's something new. I think it's something cool kind of add in there. Like I said, the NBA is competing with soccer for international sports. As far as the international reach, they are competing with soccer being that international sport, and I think they're giving them a run for the money. Like you said, if you look at the diversity and the international reach of basketball, it's stuff like this to kind of makes it exciting. The only thing is, again, man, like I'm not big on the whole banner. I think it's kind of corny. I mean, I don't, if the Wizards were ready to compete, I could care less about a banner for the in-season tournament. I'd rather them put a banner up for that championship. You know what I'm saying? So, you guys comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I mean, what do you like? What do you dislike about the in-season tournament, aka now called the Emirates NBA Cup? What do you like? What do you dislike? Because, like I said, I think it's a nice new concept. I'm giving it a chance. Like I said, the NBA is trying to try new things, and I think it's cool, man. You definitely trying to, definitely open things up business-wise. So I'm actually in favor of it. But my only thing is the banner. I thought that was kind of corny last year, but like I said, you comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's corny or do you think it was pretty cool? So, like I said, officially the NBA has released the Emirates NBA Cup. So definitely tune in, show the Wizards support. Overall, the tournament does start November 12th. Now, again, the first game for the Washington Wizards is November 15th against Hawks, but the tournament officially returns November 12th. So overall, if you want to watch other teams, definitely tune in for that because, like I said, really good basketball, man. A really good basketball. So we're going to get into Bilal Coulibaly. Are the Wizards having buyer's remorse for Bilal Coulibaly following the Olympics? And Kyle Kuzma's recent comments about politics with this being an election year. Should he simply shut up and dribble, or is he within his rights to have a political perspective? So we're going to get into both of those. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. So look, I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. Woo. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So look, head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen of the day. I appreciate y'all, man. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There is no offseason in NBA, let me tell y'all. And Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody, let's get back into it. Now, this was a story put out by Wizards of Oz. I took a look at it today, and I felt like, this is something we needed to talk about tonight, right? So this is, again, through Wizards of Oz. I'm a big fan of Wizards of Oz and Bullets Forever. Both great platforms, man, great articles, great writers, the whole nine, man. So if you're a person who likes to read columns about the Wizards, I definitely recommend Wizards of Oz and Bullets Forever. Both of them are really dope sites, man. So, quote unquote says, Wizards' regret in drafting Bilal Coulibaly grows after the Olympics. Bilal Coulibaly played behind who in Paris? So, I'm going to read this real quick for you guys, and then I'm going to respond to it, man. So, it says, the Washington Wizards are entering year 2 of a total rebuild. They are focusing on developing young talent and maximizing their draft capital. Do not be surprised to see Wizards shop veterans like Malcolm Brogdon before the deadline, because Washington wants the best odds at Cooper Flagg and the talented 2025 draft class. But should fans already be worried about the draft record? So, again, looking at Bilal and looking at Alex Sarr, obviously Alex Sarr did struggle in Summer League. Should the Washington Wizards have buyer's remorse? And I'm going to say no. I'm going to say niet, 9, none of it. I don't think they should be concerned at all. We knew that Bilal Coulibaly We knew that Alex Sarr coming out of the draft were raw. They were raw as it gets, man, when it comes to prospects. And that's why it puts that much more pressure on Brian Keefe and company, because they're known to be coaches that know how to develop. It puts, it really puts the microscope on the front office to find these diamonds in the rough. These guys who, they take a little bit, they're raw, but they have potential through the roof. If you look at Bilal Coulibaly, if you look at Alex Sarr, these guys have potential through the roof. There's a reason why they were drafted at their respective positions. Alex Sarr was not drafted at number 2 overall by accident. And if we wouldn't have drafted him, somebody else would have. Let's be real. He has potential. Is he raw? Absolutely. Does he lack aggression? Yes. Are they putting everything in place for him to kind of, I think Jonas Valanciunas is going to man him up a little bit. Absolutely. I think that he's going to push him in practice. I think that a lot of these vets on his team are going to work with him. His coaching staff is going to work with him. But, getting to Bilal, should the Wizards have buyer's remorse going into year 2? No. Did he get the play on time that you kind of wanted in the Olympics? No, but the Olympics, they're trying to vets And if you look at the vets they have in front of him, they kind of brought the question, who's in front of him? But, they're trying to win. And he's a guy who is still relatively unproven. He doesn't carry a lot of clout in the NBA. And I think a lot of people need to realize that he doesn't carry very much clout. For his draft position, he doesn't have that what I mean? So they're trying to win in the Olympics. So am I concerned that he didn't get much playing time? No, because if you look at what they did, they pushed Team USA to the brink, man. So, I think that the next Olympics, 2028, you're going to see an expanded role for Bilal with Team France, because he's going to have an expanded role within the Wizards organization. He's going to have that more responsibility as a player. He's too raw. He has a very short resume. Even if you look at his rookie year, with a complete year, because he had an injury. So these are all reasons why, if I'm the coach or the director of Team France, I would give him very little playing time too, because here's the thing, I'm trying to win a medal. And he doesn't carry that much weight right now. He's high potential, yes. Defensively, a dog. You definitely see the potential right away with his defensive prowess. But, offensively, he is raw, man. And the same thing, Alex Sarr, these guys are raw. They are going to take a lot of work. And it's perfect for the Wizards because we're early on in the rebuild. So we have nothing but time to develop these guys. Now, I get it. A lot of people in the fan base are, don't have that patience. And I get it. We've been through a lot as far as being fans of the Bullets / the Wizards. We've gone through so many eras. We won championship in 1978. We went through the Gilbert Arenas era. We went through John Wall era, the abysmal Bradley Beal era. And now we're finally seeing them finally do a real rebuild, right? Ernie Grunfeld never did a proper rebuild. Tommy Shepard, not bad drafting, but didn't draft for need at the time, which was immediate impact, as opposed to players who needed to be developed, like Denny needed to be developed. Rui Hachimura needed to be developed. Johnny Davis is still developing, Lord have mercy. And looking at Corey Kispert, yes, he is what he is, and he is what he was coming out of the draft, but there's areas of his game that he had to be developed. So, we have never been through a proper rebuild. I've said this a couple times, man. They're doing it the right way. They're taking no shortcuts, and it's going to take a little bit. So, Bilal Coulibaly is going to be all right. Be cool, going to be just fine, y'all. I'm not concerned. I don't think you should be concerned. I think that he's very raw. He's still very, very raw. Now, you do want to see some progression. You do want to see improvement with three-point shot. You do want to see him develop a mid-range shot. Definitely want to see him work on his finishing. He's not a finished product in that respect. And ball handling. Definitely want to see improvement with that. So you want to see some progress, obviously, going into year 2. But he's raw, man. I'm going to say it again, time and time again. R-A-Dub. He is raw. And, it's going to take a little bit. The same thing with, Alex Sarr. People are ready to write him off, and he's played 5 summer league games. It's way too short of a sample size. It's going to be years before you can really judge these guys, man. Before you can judge Will Dawkins on any of his moves, man, whether it's free agency, whether it's trade, or whether it's through the draft, it's going to take years before you can be able to judge him, because a lot of these guys it's going to take a while for them to come to fruition and for us to see whether we hit or miss. And you look at the realm of even Brian Keefe and in the coaching staff and even the players, you can't, it's way too early to judge these guys because it's too early in the process. And we have developed, and it's not to say there's not pressure, right? There's definitely pressure on Brian Keefe and company because their MO is development. So Brian Keefe, and I have faith in Brian Keefe. Like I said, got to know him a little bit. I think that, I was a big advocate of him getting the job. Very happy to see him get the job. And I think he's going to be all right, man. But the MO with him and David Vanderpool is development of young talent. So you definitely want to see them improve in that regard. So not improve, but improve these guys we have is what I'm trying to say. So, and real Dawkins having, you got to hit through the draft before you even think about these trade or free agent acquisitions to help us compete. You got to hit through the draft. And yes, you want to hit in this draft. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alex Sarr, you want to hit. Bub Carrington, I think we hit. And Keyshawn George, man, I think we definitely hit on that one, man. And then looking back here, last year, Bilal, I think we definitely hit. Very raw, but the potential is through the roof. Now, looking at Tristan Vucevic, I still think that he's a hit in the second round. But 2025, 2026 are very, 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 very important for the Washington Wizards because Cooper Flag and in 2026 ain't too shabby either. So these are drafts you definitely want to hit because in these next two drafts, man, you have guys who are going to be able to really be high impact players for the Washington Wizards, man. And when you combine them with B Kabali, when you combine them with Alex Sarr, when you combine them with Bub Carrington, we're going to be cooking with grease, man. We're going to be cooking with some oil, man. So I think that right now, relax, let them develop. 2028, I think is a good time to judge him in the Olympics. 4 years later, if you don't see an expanded role, if you see him struggle, maybe it's cause concern at that point because you're 4 years later, and I think that he should be a more polished player by that point. So I'm gonna say, definitely hold fast and give him some time, man. They're gonna be all right. So Kyle Kuzma has made some comments within the last month or two about obviously if you don't know, or if you live under a rock, it is election year in the United States. For all you, I'm sure I don't even have to tell the international listeners that, man, because the American election, the election process in the United States carries so much weight. It's an international affair. So this is an election year. So Kyle Kuzma made comments that we're actually throwing shade on the Democratic Party. Now, this is not a political platform. I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for. I'm not going to ask any of y'all who you're going to vote for. But should he simply shut up and dribble, or is he entitled to his perspective, regardless who he's for or against? And I'm saying yes. We live in a climate right now, and we all know, whether you live in the U.S., whether you're an international listener, you know what the environment is right now, not only the United States, but really worldwide, where the art of dialogue is a dying art, right? We don't have the ability to talk to each other without arguing or threatening each other or coming to blows anymore. And that was something that, was special about the United States. Nothing against any of you guys who are international listeners, nothing against your respective countries, but speaking from the perspective of an American, that's one thing I did like about the process in America which is we used to be able to argue and debate. And at the end of the conversation, we could shake hands and it's all love because we're all Americans at the end of the day. And, whether you're for or against a certain party, at the end of the day, I think we all agree that we all want what's best for the country, man. Looking at Kyle Kuzma, a lot of people very, very upset with him because his comments were actually, I guess, in the realm of the political spectrum, were very pro right wing. And like I said, I'm not gonna get into my preferences, my beliefs. It's not the platform for that. But should he shut up and dribble? No. If we're able to give a platform to politics, to LeBron James, if we're able to go do it for celebrities, if we're able to do it for other sports figures or movie stars or this person or that, then he's entitled to his opinion. So a lot of people that even within the realm of the Wizards fan base or Wizards Twitter gave him a hard time. And I think that that's a wrong message because you may not agree with what he's saying. You may not agree with who he's rooting for, but we need to get back to that because now, as you guys know, it's starting to seep into the sports world where, we can have a dialogue about players or a direction of the team or this or that when it comes to sports because people are ready to be disrespectful, hateful, or even to a certain degree violent. And we got to stop doing that, y'all. I mean, you may not agree with what he said. You may not like Republicans. Some of y'all may not like Democrats, but at the end of the day, it's best for everybody. And even if you get into the realm of sports, which I'm mainly talking about sports right now. Whether you are in favor of a rebuild, whether you like the draft picks, whether you like there's so many factors. At the end of the day, we're all fans, and we all want this team to be a championship team. So we need to figure out a way to agree to disagree and stop being petty. And I think a lot of us, not all of us, because there's a lot of us that have some sense, but for a lot of people, man, we need to grow up. You know what I'm saying? He's got an opinion, and I don't think it's simple as shut up and dribble when you don't agree with what he's saying. We are entitled to our opinion, and that's the wonderful thing about dialogue in sports That's what made sports special. You know, it took our mind off of issues like politics or war or economics, stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? So we need to get back to that, y'all. Get back to sports being an outlet where we can, a refuge for us, right? Where we can all have fun and we can agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, it's all love, man. And like I said, I think we've all had situations where we've gone back and forth with somebody that I know I have. And, you know, at the end of the day, for you guys to know my personality, it's all love at the end of the day, man. You know, nothing in sports is ever going to make me upset. You know, unlike popular belief, nothing in sports ever makes me upset like that, man. And like I said, Kyle, because this is something I wanted to cover it. I forgot a few times, but I don't think that, you know, it's not simple as shut up and dribble. I think that everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a piece of the process, and that's what makes America special for us that are Americans. Like I said, nothing against any other country that is listening. Definitely love y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. And but I'm speaking from the perspective right now as an American voter and American sports fan, is that politics and sports. You know, politics ain't never going to be a platform where we're going to agree, but sports, we need to get back to that, man. So no, Kyle Kuzma should not shut up and dribble. I think he's entitled to his opinion, and like I said, I don't care who you vote for. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what name you give God. It's all love on this channel with me, man. So I got love for you guys, man. Like I said, I wanted to talk about that. So we talked about a lot tonight, y'all. Obviously, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick rundown on tomorrow, because I will not be releasing a video on Friday. I will be releasing tomorrow, because tomorrow the NBA schedule formally comes out. So I'm going to do a live video tomorrow. So we're gonna catch up live tomorrow and chop it up like we always do. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk to you guys about Locked On NBA. Thank you again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now go check out Locked On NBA Podcast, where the season never ends, providing national expertise with a local perspective. You can find a link to Locked On NBA in the description, so you don't need to search for it, y'all. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. All right, everybody, let's get back into it. So before we roll tonight, as you guys know, I got me a nice little cut, and I cut my beard down. So I went down with the goatee, and I'm looking to grow my beard out full for the wintertime, man. So, you know, got my big old German chin hanging out here, man. But tomorrow, guys, like I said, I will not be releasing a video on Friday. I will actually be a member of a podcast, in-person podcast. I'm gonna put the description down below. It's been a long day, man. I had a description of the podcast, but I will definitely put it out on YouTube and on Twitter, man, because I want to do a shout out for my guy. But I will actually be in DC proper, or I believe Alexandria on Friday. So I will not be dropping a video Friday night, but I will be doing a live video tomorrow night for the NBA schedule. So we're gonna take a look at important, road trips, important dates like Portland Trailblazers come back into town, right? And I'm gonna kind of look at what games I might be looking at attending. So if you're a fan of the show, if you just you just want to chop it up, I'll definitely give you guys a list of games that I plan on going to cover to watch the Wizards this season. So definitely tune in tomorrow night, because the NBA is officially releasing their schedule. So we're gonna take a look at it. Important games, important dates, important road trips, because as you guys know, road trips, man, are those late games, man. But look, it's a labor of love, y'all. So again, appreciate you guys, man. Comment below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hail to the Wizards and peace. See you guys next time. Have a good night.